whenever we have questions, you are giving one intellectual knowledge. And if we...
I'm not giving you intellectual knowledge. Where am I giving you intellectual knowledge? I'm showing you how to challenge your intellectual knowledge.
Yes. But if we take it only to get some answer for our question, we'll end up with the one more conclusion only.
I understand what is happening. See, when you talk of sadhana in terms of inquiry, jnana yoga, contemplation, all of it is done only to very carefully look at your hidden assumption, hidden conclusion. You remove the conclusion, it means you are going on removing the cataract which is obstructing your contact with reality. Whatever is reality, whatever is actuality, you will see it. When you see something as it is, when you say, okay, this flower is pink, white, whatever, it's not an intellectual conclusion. Why is it an intellectual conclusion? Are you following?
Yes.
That's not an intellectual conclusion.
Yeah.
You already had a conclusion which was blocking you from seeing certain things. I demolished the conclusion. And because of that, you said, okay, yes, correct. I don't know how much you came to see it, but the purpose of this is to demolish your conclusion, knowledge. You already have some knowledge. So I challenged your knowledge. Now the knowledge is gone. And you saw something as it is. Don't call that as knowledge. Don't call that as conclusion. That you're just acknowledging a fact. Just like you acknowledge a flower or a sun or something. Don't call that intellectual conclusion. But now there is a possibility, there is a possibility of a problem there also. Suppose you ask the question, okay, with some hidden conclusion behind it. My job is actually to point out the hidden conclusion behind it and clarify, okay? And it will depend, how well I do it will depend on my skill, intellectual skills, language, and whatever. I will do it in a certain, I will try to do it to my best of my ability, intellectual ability. I challenge the conclusion. For me, it looks clear enough. For me, it looks, okay, this conclusion is not valid. The conclusion is kept aside. If you brush it aside, the fact remains. And the fact is, I will state the fact. Okay. With me, I am fine. For myself, it is okay. But in your case, if for you that conclusion has not actually been challenged, it has not actually been wiped out, but you are listening to me stating that fact, that will become a conclusion for you. You'll make it here. Because your cataract is not gone. You are not seeing it yourself. This cataract is still there. On top of that, I stated the fact. So the fact will become another cataract for you. Theory. That's possible. And that is what has happened in what is, it has happened in a very fundamental way today in what we call as Jnana Yoga. Why are people going on uttering this word Atman and Brahman? It's precisely that. See, the Vedantic approach, the inquiry, Vedanta inquiry, they initially only highlight using your reasoning, whatever was available for them at that time. They will give examples, reasoning, and they will show, you can call your body my body, but how can it be me? They'll tell many things. Or they'll give the example of deep sleep, dream. They will make you come to a state of question about your identity with the body and the mind. That is the whole purpose of Vedantic inquiry actually. Negation. You already have hidden conclusions about yourself and the world. They only want to challenge it. I'm talking of the most fundamental conclusion now, that I am this body-mind. In fact, before you come to addressing that conclusion, so many other conclusions should be addressed, because intellect has layers and layers which have to be demolished. You can't directly address this for everybody. But anyway, now if this is being addressed, and they do some reasoning just to challenge your present conclusion that I am this body mind. You have that conclusion. they will use reasoning to challenge it. When they challenge it, as the listener, we should actually just stay with that. Because that conclusion is not going to go away just like that, just because you heard about somebody challenging that one day. So you should be using Vedanta only for that. If you don't stop there, and if you go, they will state the fact. For them, it was a fact. See, they will challenge your identity, and then they will say, therefore, I am Atman, they will say. You shouldn't be taking that. If you take that, you're gone. You now have a new conclusion, new theory, new cataract. So you should only be looking at how my hidden assumptions can be challenged. Either you do it yourself. If you can't do it yourself, if you are going to someone else, this is where you are going. You should remember this. You're not going to others for them asking for a nice theory. In all these videos where teachers are talking of Vedanta and giving Vedantic discourses, on all those groups and all those sessions, very, very common question asked. Yeah, we understand Vedanta theoretically, but I don't get it. I really don't get it. I understand it theoretically, I don't get it. This question is asked in almost all Vedanta. The problem is there only. When they are saying, I theoretically understand it, is where they have to be challenged. There is no such thing as theoretical understanding. That is where they're stuck. It's a vicious thing, you see. Because they have come to assume that they have understood something theoretically, actual seeing won't happen now. That theory will block them. Words will block them. So this is one of the common things you will see in all Vedanta classes. That they're saying, I understand this Advaita Vedanta theoretically, but I don't see it. The answer is there in that question only. It is because you are understanding it theoretically, you are not seeing it. You made it a theoretical concept. You made it an understanding. Instead of stopping at the point of challenging your conclusions and just doing that only, you skipped that and you accepted a concept, a conclusion, which you shouldn't have done. Now you're stuck forever. Nothing will happen out of it.